I don't even know if that was good ASMR, but we're going to go with that, okay? Well, it's good, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today's another solo episode. We are recapping the past few guest episodes. I like to do this every set or so, every 5, 6, maybe 7 episodes, just to kind of recap on who's been on, what did we talk about, and some of the most memorable or the biggest bits of information that I got from each person. And if you haven't watched those, then this is a bit of a teaser into what those episodes are about. And I would highly recommend you go and watch them because each one of them is amazing and great in its own way. So I like the diversity of guests that we have on, although a lot of them have been part of the Dallas dance scene. But they're in my circle and they're dope people, and we're gonna keep highlighting as many dope people as we can. So the first one that I wanted to talk about is Karsten Williams. This is a gentleman who has been like almost a mentor figure, like a role model figure in my life for a couple of years now, mainly because he originally competed in American Ninja Warrior, and that's kind of how I got to know him. Back when I was living in Texas, he was working at a ninja gym, and I went to go visit with a friend of mine, and I'm going to keep saying a friend of mine as he watches this and not name drop him. When we went to go visit, and Karsten and JB were both there, and I'd seen Karsten. I think I'd seen Karsten on TV already by that point, and I'd already talked to JB at my university at that point somehow, or maybe I like walked by him and then I saw him again at the gym. And they were super nice, took care of us, like showed us the ropes, taught us a lot, and basically just were super nice and helpful and very supportive of two dudes who just wanted to come in and pretend to play Ninja Warrior. Which I assume they get that a lot, if from like both the younger generation and my generation. They probably get that a lot, but it was fun. It was humbling, everything like that. It was a really fun time, and that's kind of how I got to know Karsten, and just from there, just kept in touch as I could. And I was super pumped that he was down to come on the podcast and chat with me. This podcast specifically was more about the ninja side of Karsten, the training that he does. He trains other people, trains himself. He still competes, but he also trains other ninjas. And just in general, other people, not even training for Ninja Warrior competitions, but training them in a more ninja-like athletic way. And I thought that was cool. You know, we talked about the benefits of athletic training as opposed to simply weightlifting. And in some cases, even calisthenics, because calisthenics sometimes can be a static type of movement. It can be it's like if you're going from the spectrum of the most static to the most dynamic types of movement, I would say, you know, weightlifting is pretty static. It is stand in one place, sit down in one place, lie down in some place, and lift heavy weight up and down. Calisthenics moves that a little bit further, saying, okay, you are hanging, you are lying, you are on your palms, you're on your feet, but you are more dynamic, right? You're moving your body most of the time. It's more so body weight. You can get into competitive calisthenics and or higher tier competitions to where you are doing like bar work and a lot of pseudo gymnastics movements. That's like the competitive higher side of calisthenics, and then you go into athleticism, where you are dynamic as fuck. You are explosive. You are fast. You are just speed. You are speed, and you're showing it. You are showing speed, and I like it. I think everybody needs it. I think everybody needs a form of athletic training. Most people just do athletic training in the form of like run clubs, walking, things like that. But that's just more so, you know, keeping yourself moving, but it's not athletic. Athletics is like plyometrics. Athletics is like explosives, like jumps and sprints and leaps. And I don't know. It's hard to explain athleticism unless you like see the exercises. For me, at least, I'm not any sort of, what's the word for it? I'm not a scientist. I don't do exercise science. I'm also not a trainer. So it's hard for me to explain. I'm simply an enthusiast and a hobbyist. And that's probably where I'll stay for the most of my life. But I have had my fair share of athletic trainings in the past, one of them being with the JB. But we're going back to my conversation with Karsten. It was cool. Like he talked about, you know, how he trains other people for ninja, how he trains other people just for general like health training. how he trains himself. The biggest tip that I got, or the biggest piece of knowledge that I received from Karsten during the podcast was, and this was like the best thing ever. And we were talking about his nutrition, and he said, for someone who's very busy, who's traveling, who's active a lot, convenience is the biggest factor for him in terms of what he eats and how he eats it and when he eats and things like that, right? Convenience is the biggest thing. It's much more convenient to get your greens and get your protein powder in a shake and drink it and go on, and you're on the go and you're moving, as opposed to trying to find a way to cram all those macros into a meal that you have to sit down and eat and focus on eating and things like that. Like you just don't have the time to do that sometimes. So it's very convenient to have it in like a drinkable form or in a pill form or in a powder form, whatever it is, right? So the convenience factor was big, because as much as people talk about, these are all just supplements. These are all supplements. You should supplement your already existing nutrition plan with these things, right? But if I'm not eating enough to even get to what I need, I'm not supplementing. Like it's part of my diet at this point. Like respectfully, a protein bar in the morning right now in my current phase of life is part of my diet. 20 gram protein bar in the morning every day. 30 gram protein shake at night every day. That's 50 there. I'm basically almost at 50% of what I need to have. Right, like 40 technically. That's just how it is. That's just how it's got to be sometimes, and for some people, right? And so I really appreciate him saying that. And I would like to talk more about how convenience is a big thing. Alex Hormozy puts out every now and then, he'll put out his usual thing of, here's a list of things that you can pay for that will save you hundreds of hours a month. One of them is cooking. You can pay somebody else to cook for you. You can pay for somebody else to like give you meal plans and things like that. And then you can buy your protein powders, you can buy your protein drinks, and you can buy your greens powders, you can buy your supplements, whatever it is, if you don't have time to cook and you're not getting in the nutrients that you need, right? If you're someone who doesn't like to cook, who's not good at cooking, these are all much, much more beneficial and easier to do alternatives than just, I didn't hit my macro because I didn't have time to cook something tonight. Well, fair. I don't know what's going to happen this month, man. Like I'm super busy, and I don't think I'll have time to eat everything I need to eat in order to hit my macros, in order to hit this goal weight and this goal strength that I'm trying to go for. Okay, cool. Pay for the food. Respectfully. You have the money, pay for the food. If you have the money, pay for the food. It's not that big of a decision anymore. Have I done it myself? Almost. No, because my wife and I like to cook. And so I also have convinced myself that it's not a good idea yet. I think at some point, if life just gets too busy, I would consider it. I would highly consider it. Because I've had this conversation with my wife where the amount of money that we spend getting the ingredients to cook the food, that we end up not using all of them because we don't have time to cook the food that we're trying to cook, or we've already meal prepped something and got more ingredients on top of that, but we haven't finished everything we've meal prepped anyway, so we're still eating that. We don't have time to cook more food, and then the food we got goes bad. We could have just not bought those ingredients at the time, and get easier alternatives. So then if we do want to cook, you go get the ingredients you want to cook, come back, cook that, say that for the week. But instead of doing that, we get ingredients a little bit in bulk sometimes, and we don't use all of them. Classic example, happens to everybody, not just us, happens to everybody. Just want to put that out there. But it could be avoided if we thought about instead of bulk buying ingredients, just buy what you need for the meal that you're trying to make that meal plan, whatever it is, and then leave that in your fridge. Don't put extra stuff in your fridge. Don't put extra stuff in your pantry that you're not going to eat. Just go buy what you are going to eat. Instead of buying what if I feel like eating this instead? Then go back out and get it. Unless you're getting a super saver deal and you're 100% going to eat that week, just go back out and get it. Because if you don't eat that thing, you save yourself money on not getting the thing in the first place. But if you do eat that thing, okay, cool. You just went out and got it. right? Anyways, I could probably talk more about this, and I feel like I'd be ranting at that point. So we're gonna slow it down there. We're gonna stop it there. But convenience of nutritional like meal plans and protein shakes and supplements is a big thing nowadays. And I would like to let you know that it's okay if you're opting for a more convenient method that's maybe not the most optimal, or like maybe not the most holistic, like, you know, the most natural, whatever it is. But if it's convenient, just go for it. Like what's more important, being natural or being convenient? This is not an ad for steroids, by the way. Stay natty. But, you know, if it's more convenient to not cook and just, you know, use that money and get a meal plan and get like 5 meals delivered for dinner every like for the week for you, do that. Do that. As long as you don't go broke, do it. So then the next podcast was with MJG, my brother, Michael J. Garcia. He has been really doing that shit lately. His cinematography has been leveling up. His dance has been leveling up. I need to take a drink real quick. Not sponsored. So MJG, this, I'm so mad. If y'all haven't watched the MJG, I'm so mad because it was such a good interview. And I had a buddy of mine tell me that this is such a good interview. And I'm so mad about the audio issues that happened in the recording. It was so frustrating. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go back and watch the MJG episode that aired a month ago. I was so upset. But we were talking more about MJG's filmmaking and cinematography as opposed to his dance side this time, because he has been still releasing a good amount of short films. I think he tries to release 1 or 2 every year. This year he's trying to go for 2 more in the second half of the year. And I was just talking to him about cinematography, like what his process is like, what his workflow is like. And I think, you know, for beginners who want to get into cinematography and filmmaking and stuff like that, like what do you like, how to go about it, how to approach it. And what I continue to learn from MJG is quite literally just, it's not as easy as do the thing. It's more so just try doing the thing. Like if you're interested in it, just try it. Okay, maybe this wasn't great. Okay, make it better next time. You know, maybe this part wasn't great the second time. Maybe make that better the third time, etc. Right? He and I talked about dummy work again, and this is a concept or a thing that I struggle with, and I talked about it with Barney as well. So dummy work is essentially, he was talking about doing work, not getting paid for it. You're simply volunteering your time and large amounts of it in order to get the experience that you're looking for. And in the world of filmmaking and cinematography, it could be just interning on set, volunteering to like be on set and like carry things back and forth, help people out here and there, hold something. You're maybe you're not doing you're not directing, you're not producing, you're not on screen, but you're in the background doing something, right? You're observing. You are seeing who does what, where, when, and why. How do they do it? What are all the different roles like, right? You're observing all of that. What's the time efficiency? Is everybody on time? Are they delayed? Whose fault is that? How can things go awry? When things go awry, what happens? All those things, right? And you do all of this for free because you want the experience of seeing all of this that you would not have otherwise had if you had requested money for it. And I think the thing that I keep going back with is like, dummy work as a concept is what a lot of people who have made it preach, but very few people talk about like, oh yeah, when I was trying to make it, I also did dummy work, because they were probably trying to get paid for whatever they were doing. There are examples of people out there who have done dummy work in the past and then climbed the ranks to then do the work, like do it for free, then do it for money, and then do it for more money, and then keep doing it for more money. But in the current generation, people don't want to do dummy work anymore. People do not want to do dummy work. It is not their cup of tea. They want to get paid for their time because they feel like their time is that valuable. Some people's time is not that valuable. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put it out there. Maybe your time is not as valuable as you think right now in order to be paid. Your time would be more valuable experiencing as much as you can when you're new and when you're fresh. Ask for experiences, ask for things, ask to observe, etc. ask questions. And so dummy work is interesting because, once again, people who've made it will tell you, looking back on it, I would have done it differently. And I very, very much doubt in many cases that is true. I very much doubt in many cases that is true. And I'm going to skip ahead and talk about Barney's podcast that I had with him, because that one was a really fun one as well. It was the next one after MDG anyway. But Barney's we talked about a lot in that one too. And, Barney and I just shot the shit for the entire time. But what he had said made sense, that when you're starting dancing and you're learning and you're part of choreography teams, and maybe you have a little bit of experience creating a choreography and teaching others, he was like, you don't have to get paid for every single thing that you teach, because you're just maybe not good enough to be paid. But people, you take the money in the first place because you're like, I spend hours on this choreo and I'm spending an hour and a half teaching it to somebody. I want to get paid for my time, get paid for my work, etc. Right? But he said, it's not a bad idea to make something and just ask people, hey, I'm teaching this class for free. Would you mind coming? Or do you want to come and take it? More people we think would excel and or progress faster if they tried that first. Because a big thing in the dance community, at least in the Dallas one, I don't know about any other cities, is the pipeline from beginner, student, dancer, instructor, paid instructor is so fucking fast sometimes that people just don't, respectfully, I don't think you're good enough to be teaching something right now. Go get better. But those are just my thoughts. Those are just my opinions. Those are just my thoughts and observations from the time that I had in there. And it was rampant, and not rampant, but it happened a lot when I was there. Still happens, but I think there's cases where dummy work is a better alternative, or better idea, a better starting point. Actually, I think that's what I would say, right? I think when you say incorporate dummy work as a better start, as a starting point in the process, do it for free, figure it out. Once you've figured it out, ask for money. Because I think the risk there is, if you don't do it for free and you do it for money right off the bat, and you do a bad job, you are risking your reputation that don't have a reputation, granted, but you're already going from 0 to -2 as opposed to 0 to 1 if you had done it for free. So dummy work is interesting. Dummy work is an interesting concept, and I continue to struggle with it because I'm one of those people who doesn't want to spend my time on something if I'm not getting paid for it, or if I don't want to do it. Obviously, all of this, what you and I have right here is free. What you and I have right here is free, and it's going to stay that way. But I think about, would I ever want to start a new job, completely new career, just flip my life upside down and start something new from scratch in my 30s or something like that? Would I request to intern with somebody for free, or would I go for something that's paid? What would I do? I think about that a lot. Speaking of Barney, also, brother, he literally a couple of weeks after posting that episode, he won something else. Man does not stop winning. He does not stop winning, and it's crazy. Love that for him. But fuck, he's so good. He's so talented. It's aggravating sometimes. But I did enjoy in our call, and I love his one advice of don't suck. That's his one advice. Just don't suck. And I find that hilarious. But it's kind of fair. Whatever you do, just don't suck at it. That's all. Whatever you do, don't suck at it. And if you don't suck at it, you have room for improvement. If you suck at it, find something else. There was another thing that we talked about in Barney's podcast that I really liked. I think it was when we were talking about he recently got the position as a director of something at his new job, and he was like, I don't know what I'm doing as a director, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna put in the time. I'm gonna figure it out. But not knowing what I'm doing going into it did not like stop him from accepting it and putting his best foot forward and trying to figure it out. And I thought that was cool. I feel like there's a bit of hesitancy sometimes with people, myself included, of not going to the next level until we're 100% sure we're competent enough to go to the next level. When, in fact, you will never be competent enough to go to the next level until you're already in the next level trying to figure out what's going on around me. That's how it works. In my job, you have different like staff levels, right? You have associate, senior associate, manager, senior manager, director, and then either senior managing director or partner after that. And the way they usually structure their promotions is you are good enough to start at the next level, knowing full well, like an associate is not going to be a great senior associate their first year. Their first year is going to be figuring out how do I become a senior associate, how to become a good senior associate, and then their next 1-2 years is becoming a good senior associate, and then showing, okay, cool, now how am I supposed to be a manager at this point? And then when you get promoted to manager, it's because you've shown just enough skills to show management that, okay, this person has the skill set to be a good manager. They're not there yet, but they'll get there when we promote them. So then they promote you to manager, and then you're figuring out what am I supposed to do as a manager? Like, how does this work? That's how advancement works. And I think if you find yourself in a mindset and in a spot of, I don't know if I'm good enough yet to go to the next level, just go to the next level. Because if you think I am not good enough yet, there's no point going to the next level. You're not going to try hard. But if you don't know, like, am I good enough yet? I'm not sure. Like, I kind of understand it, but I'm not sure. Go to the next level. Just look for the next advancement and figure it out there. Because you already don't know. And since you already don't know, you're going to figure something out. You might as well figure out what you want to know at that point. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Drink break. All right, we got two more. Okay, we got Wonder. This is my first ever conversation with Wonder in my life. This was dope. Wonder's podcast. It was like just trying to figure out, who is this guy? What is he like? What is he into? I was trying not to ask any questions I would ask like people that I already know a bit deeper at this point in time. But he nonetheless, he was very gracious, very kind in sharing what he did. What I learned about Wonder and what he taught me was this like heavy emphasis on camaraderie. So I had mentioned to him how my kind of issue in when I was battling and when I was learning and when I was becoming a dancer, and it's still like this now when I joined Book Talk and I tried to do BookTube and stuff like that, where like I see people initially as competitors, or I see people as, this is somebody I have to prove something to, and therefore I cannot become so friendly and buddy with them and have this camaraderie because I have to prove something to them. I might have to beat them in a battle later. I might have to I need to let them know that I'm just as good as they are, if not better, and things like that. That's a fucking big error, by the way. This is my mindset. I don't know if it's good or not. That's just what I have. And so the issue to me is like, it cuts you off from a support system that you could have when in trying to get better, because you're blocking this friendship, this relationship that could develop. And for him, he was like, yeah, like he was already like friends with all these people, even though like they battle, they session, all these things. Like he was like, and I asked him like, was that always there, or did you have to develop it? And for him, he was like, it was kind of already there. The friendships were already kind of there, or they were like there to, they were like, the friendships were already like unlocked for him just to like, do like be a part of. And I like that. And I think about that a lot. This year I've tried to be less competitive and more, what's the word? What's the adverb noun version of camaraderie? Camaraderie. I'm trying to become less competitive and more camaraderie this year, because I realize like nobody's your competition except for yourself. Like in what I'm doing here, nobody's a content competitor to me except for myself in terms of getting in my own way, overthinking, overdoing things, keep it simple, stupid, all those things. I'm my biggest hater. Nobody else hates me. Nobody even knows about me. So who am I competing against, really? Right? And so I've tried to, keep that in mind, watching people dance, commenting on videos, watching people's TikToks, book talks, bookstagrams, booktubes, commenting on their videos, trying to, actually converse and build any sort of relationship with people. Not to say that I'm building it for it to be a benefit to me in the future, but building it because I want to. Like, this is actually somebody who I think I would love to talk to more about books, even offline. Let me try to build something here. That's what I'm trying to do now. It's interesting. I like it. It's interesting. But that's what I got from Wonder. That's what I really enjoyed that podcast. I really enjoyed talking to him, and I hope I can do more in the future. I really do want to get him, maybe some of the other poppers in a group, and then talk to them all in terms of like a group interview. That'd be fun. But that's for the future. Drink break, not sponsored. Andy Peloquin. I always butcher it. In my brain, I always butcher it. Andy, I'm so sorry, sir. Andy is really cool. Like I don't know what else to say besides he is really cool. Like we talk about in the podcast, he naturally has this like magnetic electric delivery of like whatever he's saying. And I'm like, how is this guy like this? How is this 6-foot+ dude so like I want to be his friend. Like I want to say hi. I want to comment on his videos. I want to answer his questions. I want to read his book. Like how is he like this? Man, it's just got it though. That's really what I uncovered in that episode. He just got it. He just has it like that. Like there's no secret sauce. There's no secret powder. There's no secret supplement. There's no secret. He just got it like that. And it was really fun to get to know him, get to know his story a little bit more. From when he was initially interested in writing, freelancing as an editor, writing his first book and books and stories, to what he's doing now, all the things that he's a part of, Fanfi Addict, A Little Stack, all these things, and doing his own content, writing his own books, co-authoring books, things like that. Like he does a lot, and I was like, how do you do so much? Does it not get boring? Does it not burn you out, etc.? And what I liked about his answer, he was like, I just have systems in place to where I can get what I need to get done and not feel stressed out about it. Like he's not necessarily spending too much time doing just one thing, unless he's like into it and then he's like doing it a lot. But like, he has his routine. He has his systems in place to where like every day he does this thing in the morning, and then he does breakfast, and then he does his content for an hour, and then he does his writing for an hour, and then he reads for like, or he does his writing for like 2 hours, and then he reads for like another hour, and then he does this. And what I loved, which is why I was like, me and Andy fucking get each other, okay? What I loved, he said, okay, on Friday and Saturday are my book packing and delivering days. When people order books on his website, he, packs them himself and then takes them to the shipment place. So he was like, okay, cool. Any book orders that come in during the week, I don't worry about until Thursday, and I'll go through all of them on Thursday or Friday, print out all the labels, do all that stuff on Friday, take them on Friday or take them on Saturday, whatever it is. So he's like, I don't worry about these things for like 4 whole days, because I know that I'm going to do it on this day. And that removes an extra like daily to-do list that you think about. And I think we need to do that a lot more. And we need to talk about doing that a lot more, right? Like, I don't have a system for recording all the time. I just record when I can and then try and push it out, which is not the best, but it'd be like that. But it's an amazing system, and a lot of people talk about this, where you bulk things out, you schedule things out, and until it's time for you to do it, you don't do it. That's just the best thing. I ran into a little bit of trouble with that recently in my personal life, and I won't go into details, but I tried to wait until now to do something. I should not have. I should have done like 3 weeks. I should have done like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that ended up falling through the plans that I had, because I didn't do them in time. Because I thought, okay, cool. If I'm doing something this weekend, I'll plan it during the week. No, didn't work out like that. But usually, what I'll do is, okay, I'm not like, I'll give you an example with my book channel, right? I do a video a week. Usually, the first video and the last video are super easy, and I don't stress about them, because the first video of the month is, here's what I'm reading this month. And I'll go through what I'm reading. I'll talk about the book to the extent I can. I read 10 minutes of the book and get my first thoughts. The end of the month, here's what I thought about all the books that I read this month. And if there are any books that I didn't mention in the beginning of the month video, because certain times I just read something randomly in the middle of the month, I'll still talk about that book. So I only really have to think about 2 videos. Like what are the 2 videos in the middle going to be? Whether it's a book therapy video, like a skit video, or like a talking head concept, like here's what's happening now type of video. Is it like a full deep dive review into a book or a series, or something like that, right? Is it like a general book recommendation video? Those things like that, right? So I only had to worry about 2 videos. And that, when I started doing that, I was like, this takes so much more stress off my mind. And so, because I'm already reading books anyway, right? I'm already someone who likes to plan. Drink break. I'm already somebody who likes to plan things out. And so I do that with my books anyway. So I was like, might as well just incorporate that into the booktube already, obviously. So like at the beginning of the month, here's what I'm planning to read this month. Or at the end of the month, here's what I did and did not read this month. And it just works out that way. Now, that does mean that in terms of recording, I am time gated to those specific times. So that makes it a little bit of like the recording has to happen that week and has to get done that week. But at least if I know that, okay, cool. For the first 3 weeks of the month, I'm not worried about the 4th video of the month, because I know that the last week I'm going to record that, then get it out. Things like that, right? So that little piece of the system is so important. Like if you can schedule and craft a system that this happens only at this time, on this day, in this moment, and I'm okay with it happening on this time, on this day, in this moment, and it can be predictable, it can be simplified, there's no reason for why it has to be rushed. Cool. Take a load off. Do other things, everything else, and then when that time comes, do that. But just make sure to do that thing. That was so good. I loved that. I loved when he brought that up. I was so happy with that. I was so happy with that. But yeah, those were the past 5, I believe, or so interviews that we had with the guests. We have more on the way. Don't worry, I'm gonna take care of y'all. We have more on the way. One of them is 2 hours plus again. I'm not trying to do this to y'all. It just happens. I'm not trying to do this to y'all. It just happens, and I can't help it. I also love my 2-hour podcast. So why wouldn't I make a 2-hour podcast? You know what I mean? That's just how it is. That being said, if you have gotten to this point, I appreciate you. Mwah, love you. Thank you so much for watching this far. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. It's a recap episode of, let's call it Q3 of 2025. Not even Q3, actually. Because it's only July. Bro, it's only July. What have I been doing? Wow. Let's call it Q3 of 2025 in our timeline. It's not technically Q3 because it hasn't been 2 months, 3 months, but let's call it Q3 of our timeline, shall we? So, yeah, I hope you guys liked that recap. If you guys did watch the other episodes, I would appreciate you letting me know what little tidbits and nuggets of information that you got from those, like what you liked about them. What did you, if you learned something new, what did you learn? I would love to know that. Leave it in the comments below. And I'll catch you guys later next time for the next episode, which, oh, by the way, I didn't even talk about it. Look at the new place that we're in. You see this bookshelf back there? Bro, I am genuinely grinning because I love this thing so much. I don't know why I didn't do this before. I know that black is my color. I've been doing white bookshelves for 3 years. 4 years. 3 years. 4 years. 3 years. I should have gotten a black bookshelf a long time ago because this is awesome. This is truly what I wanted out of like a setup or like a background. Man, it's so nice to look at too. Oh, I love that. I hope y'all like that too. Let me know what you think about the setup too, if you don't mind. I would appreciate it. With that being said, I will catch you guys later. I'll talk to you guys next time, all right? Peace. Oh, also subscribe, please. I'm trying to get more people here. Thank you.